Hey guys, Samurai Carpenter here, coming to you with a video today about books. What are the best books to get on the subject of woodworking and carpentry and timber framing and home building? And I'll tell you, the majority of what I know, I learned from these books and just a lot of practice and on-the-site training. So, I didn't go to any schools. Everything I've learned is just through on-site training from random carpenters and self-taught through reading a lot of books and applying the skills I learned in these books. So without further ado, first book, The Language of Doors. This is a great book on just understanding all the architectural elements you see on the exteriors of houses, from the doors to just all the different names for every different kind of exterior detail, how those details evolved from ancient architecture, if you're into that. Next, if you're into woodworking, if you're into woodworking, obviously you're into woodworking, you're watching me talk about woodworking books. Anyways, if you're into wood carving, this is a book I highly recommend. Goes through all the different details of how to lay out and actually step-by-step carve patterns and moldings and all sorts of awesome stuff in wood. And this is just a great book on wood carving. So if you're into wood carving, you want to learn more about it, it's called Carving Architectural Detail in Wood by Frederick Wilbur. Japanese tools. If you're just jumping into the whole Japanese hand tools world, I just want to say congratulations, because there's just no better hand tools in my opinion. It's my opinion. Don't get your panties in a bunch if you're not into Japanese tools, okay? But if you are, get this book. This book will teach you a lot about hand tools. Get this book. It's a great book. It's called Japanese Woodworking Tools: Their Tradition, Spirit, and Use by Toshio Odate. This is one of my favorite books, one of the first books I ever got on woodworking, and it's called The Timber Frame Home by Ted Benson. I recommend all of Ted Benson's books because he is just a boss woodworker. I've never met him, but he's built a lot of awesome homes, and so I got mad respect for the guy. So if you want to know all the different elements of how to build your own timber frame home and how to insulate it and wire it and do all that sort of stuff, this book is a great resource for just the how-to, cross sections, and all the details that go into building a timber frame home. So get that book. Next, if you just want a visual wood orgasm book, this is it. You'll just leaf through it time and time again and just drool over it. So get this book. It's a great coffee table book, and it's just loaded with tons of inspiration, great ideas for building your own house. Boom. A little bit older, one of Ted Benson's first books, and it kind of just goes into a lot of the history of how timber framing evolved in North America, and it's just another good book on timber framing. I'm pretty obsessed with timber framing. Plan to build my own timber frame shop and home in the next couple of years. So get ready for those videos, because they're going to be awesome. Other than that, Jack Sobin's books. This guy's like a pioneer, helped bring timber framing back, him and Ted Benson. And so this guy's like old school, like uses all hand tools and stuff. If you're into that, just being legit old world carpenter, Jack Sobin's books are going to be awesome. It's called Timber Frame Construction, all about post and beam building. Another classic timber framing book. If you're into timber framing, you probably already have this book. It's called The Timber Framers Workshop by Steve Chappell. And this book is great. It's got all sorts of engineering and math type stuff, layout type stuff. My phone won't shut up. Sorry about that. A lot of good information in this book. Get that book. If you're into European frames, especially English frames, this book will just melt your face, because it's got so much awesome stuff. It's relatively new, so it's got a lot of new technology in it. CAD drawings and just all sorts of cross sections and beautiful pictures. It's not bound very well. It's kind of coming apart, but I'd still buy the book just for the pictures, because it's amazing. This book, you can only get this book through the Timber Framers Guild. I don't know if you have to be a member, but if you go to the Timber Framers Guild website, You should be able to find this in their publication section and order it from there. It's like a collaboration of like all sorts of amazing carpenters that have all written articles on everything from engineering to how to sharpen your chisel to just everything. Everything cool to do with timber framing is in this book. One of my newest favorites. I live on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, and this book, a lot of the homes that are featured in this book are on Vancouver Island, just crazy cabins out in the middle of nowhere that nobody even knows about. They're all built out of like driftwood and just gnarly pieces of wood, and this is a crazy hippie, just wild, see what's possible with woodworking kind of book. You'll just get all sorts of really cool inspiration. I highly recommend this book, just to kind of stretch your mind and see what thinking outside the box looks like. This is a great book. It's Builders of the Pacific Coast by Lloyd Kahn. Get that book. If you don't own this book, get on Amazon and buy it right now, because this is the textbook of everything Japanese joinery. The joinery in this book will just melt your face. You'll probably, I laughed at some of the joints. They were so complex and just crazy looking. But super inspiring book. Tons of information in here on how to use your tools, and sharpen your tools, and how to cut the joints and lay out the joints, and just this is a must-have for any carpenter, whether you're into Japanese woodworking or not. Just get this book. Another one of my favorites, personal favorites, is Building the Japanese House Today by Lynn Brackett. This guy lives in California. He trained in Japan. I don't know him personally, but he is an amazing craftsman, and he builds some gorgeous homes, which he showcases in this book. It's just full of awesome pictures and just everything to do with joinery and the Japanese aesthetic and what Japanese traditional architecture is all about. This book is just gorgeous. Love this book. Get it. One of the biggest inspirations in my design woodworking journey thus far is by far the Green brothers, Henry and Charles Green. These guys were just geniuses, pioneers. They brought a lot of the Asian influence into the arts and crafts movement in the early 1900s, late 1800s. Built just absolutely gorgeous houses, floor to ceiling, teak paneling. Just, if you haven't heard of the Green brothers, you have now. Go, just do a Google search. This book is another coffee table book that's just loaded with amazing pictures that will just inspire you. Get this book. My number one book that I have found to date, my favorite all-time book to do with home building and design, is this book. Patterns of Home, the 10 Essentials of Enduring Design. This book is just pure gold, and you will never look at a home the same way after you read this book. You'll finally understand so many of the different feelings that you get from different types of architecture and just how to design the perfect house for you, for anybody. This book is by far my favorite book, so go and get it. I wish I had an Amazon store with an affiliate link set up so I could just send you there and actually make money off all these books that you guys are going to buy, but I don't yet. So you're going to just have to go to Amazon, search these titles, order these books, and just get lost in their glory. Because there's so much good information in here. You will read these books cover to cover, time and time and time again, and they'll stay with you for years and years and years, probably the rest of your life. So if there's any resource I recommend higher than schooling or training or courses or whatever, it's go out and get books. I'm losing my voice, okay? I can't say anything else. Just get some books. Start with these. Expand your library, expand your mind. The more you learn, the more you earn. Alright, that's this week's video. Stay tuned for next week and some more awesome woodworking stuff. Samurai out.